I hadn't seen this calf go or anything, and they said he was good. Matt Bacon had tied him in 8 in the first go-around, so he run real straight, and that's what you need here.
I wake up stiffened, wonder why we do the things we've done. The better two have played it safe, never lost or won.
We want him to be a world champion. Let's cheer him on. Come on, Davy Shields, you go to him. Copenhagen pit stop for the Bowl Rodeo Cup.
Not enough pen to paper of you and I. It's making me old beyond my time.
Rain or shine, the Ponoka Stampede carries on, and it seems this year there's been a little more rain than shine over the 6 performances leading up to the finals. But that's meant for some good muddy fun.
Horse of the Franklin Rodeo Company. And we're going to watch him ride. He was 81. Here's the world champion. Come on, Danny. Look at this guy reach. Classic move. Old Hurricane. And look at this guy. Classic style by our veteran out of South Dakota. Enough. Said you just about to squeeze that leg off when you put 1,800 pounds against me. He says, let's try and ride him. Here we go. Raising Cane's goal. No, sir. Down inside too soon. At the Ponoka Stampede, we want to ride him. Come on, Kelly Armstrong. Let's cheer him on. Ride him, ride him, ride him, ride him. The whistle sounds, and he is there. Let's let him hear from you right now if you like.
It feels like I've never not been, for a long time, just because it's been such a part of me for so many years. I'm Diane Finstead, and I've been a rodeo and ag reporter for many years, since the 1980s, and so have covered many Ponoka Stampedes, both for a TV show we did called Make an 8. I've been part of the Shaw TV show. I've written stories for the Stampede, which I think are kind of cool to try and keep the history of the Stampede going. I've been able to help out over the years as kind of the moderator in the fan wagon a few years, and doing the wild ponies with the kids, and so helping a little bit on the announcing end of things too. So it's always been a real privilege and honor for me to be a part of the famous Ponoka Stampede.
True Western heritage is what Ponoka Pride is all about. This community of 6,000 in central Alberta is famous for its big annual July 1st rodeo and its cowboy ways, such as a daily drive of the stock up to the rodeo grounds. You know, cowboys played an important role in our nation's past, so what better way to celebrate Canada Day than at the 62nd edition of the Stampede?
I think it's a proud part of the town and the community's past. Something that's gone on for close to 80 years, that's a big part of it. And when it's showed growth, it's not dwindling, and it's been a big part of the community growth as well. I think that's why it's so ingrained in the culture. And there's always the phrase Ponoka Pride, and I think you really hear it and see it in person here. I mean, Ponoka, the committee and the folks in Ponoka are proud to welcome people here during the Stampede. And they're proud of their Western heritage, and they're proud of the facilities and what they can offer, and they've worked hard to get that there. But I think that pride factors into why it's such an important part of the community's culture and thinking. I have a lot of happy memories and fun and good times at the Ponoka Stampede, but when you ask about a favorite, that's hard to pick. But a couple of ones did come to mind. I really enjoyed the year that they celebrated their 75th anniversary, the Wild Days of 36, I think they called it. And so people dressed up in some amazing costumes, whether it was behind the chutes or up in the announcer's stand, and people really embraced that. And there was some great costumes out here, and They, you know, when they ran the horses in, all the directors had, you know, authentic costumes of the day. And so that one was a lot of fun. I got a lot of great pictures from that year. And so that one was great. And then obviously, the Stampede was a lot of fun when I can remember Blair needing me to come down to the arena, and I couldn't figure out. He says, "I got somebody I want you to interview down here," and I didn't know what he was talking about. And so I went along, and that was the year that I was so honored to receive the Bill Kaler Memorial Award. And yeah, I still wear the necklace with great pride. And so to be honored in that way made that one a very special Stampede too, and still is.
While the Ponoka Stampede Association likes to do things the Western way, it's also very progressive, this year adding an extra performance and lengthening the arenas to allow for some more catch-up time in the long score. Next year, there's plans for infield seating to give fans a better view of the chutes.
I guess if I look back over the years that I've been here, I think there's no limits for where the committee will take it over the next 10 years. They're always very progressive. It's a very unique balance because they're staunch traditionalists in terms of wanting to preserve the Western way of life and the rodeo, and yet very progressive when it comes to, you know, wanting to get better prize money. I mean, you look at the facilities around here and they're always wanting to improve those and be better and grow. And so I think they will take the future head on and continue to grow and provide the best product possible.
The proud Ponoka Stampede tradition lives on, and you can bet the Cowboys will be back here again next year. However, there's still some rodeos left before this fall's 25th edition of the Canadian Finals, and contestants want to make sure they qualify for it.
I think so, definitely. I had one left and two rights, so on the third barrel where it was digging up quite a bit, my horse didn't have to sit in the hole, and I helped her to leave through it, and it was definitely maybe an advantage.
Canadian finalist, she was the fastest of all of them in the first round, and let's watch her run around that one. Here she comes.
And we'll add together the 2 times it takes. Roping and wrapping is the name of the game. Pick him up, put him down, and then wrap him up with a picket string. Yes.
Hi, I'm Les McIntyre, and I've been proud to be the chuck wagon announcer at the Ponoka Stampede for probably 3 decades. And since 2003, I've been proud to be one of 2 rodeo announcers that carry the show throughout the afternoon.
Horn sounds, and the charge is a quick one for Doug Irvine, B&R Rickles, and Colt Cosgrave from the outside, Kelly Sutherland and Evan Solomon. Look at this, 4 wagons across the track. The spoke dance begins as they bang a little steel, a little hub crash in there with Phoenix Rentals and Evan Solomon and Kelly Sutherland. Red Deer Motors as they fly into the backstretch run away from the sun. Evan Solomon getting down and getting dirty.
I first came to the Ponoka Stampede back in 1976. I was working and traveling with Ross Nelson and Ward Willard, and we were packing thoroughbreds and racing chuck wagons, and I was always impressed about the Ponoka Stampede. I'd heard so much about it, and when I actually got there and was involved in the show, it was just amazing to me. The professional cowboys, the wagon racing, the fans, the crowd, and it was pretty cool. I remained in that capacity working wagons, and I actually was a wagon sponsor there for Ross Nelson in 78 and 79. I think we came in second in 1978. And then I got involved, I got to be a chuck wagon announcer starting back in about, 1985, I think, 1984. I started calling chuck wagon races in Ponoka in the mid-90s. And it always impressed me how every year it was improving, every year in every aspect, whether it was chuck wagons, rodeo. I started announcing the rodeo there in 2003 and was a little nervous to say the least, as I was when I first called my first chuck wagon race there, although I had been calling wagon races for several years prior to that. But it was just such a unique setup on top of that hill and such a unique atmosphere with the level of cowboys and wagon drivers that were there. It was just something that you looked forward to every year. And since the mid-70s, I haven't missed a year since 1976. And when I got involved as an announcer there, it was so cool to me to be a part of that, and very proud to be a part of the Ponoka Stampede to date. I remember the first time I went there and I watched the wild horse race and the wild cow milking, and that had been done at other places before, Cheyenne, Wyoming, different places around in Canada. They still had the wild horse racing, and the wild cow milking is something that I think they could bring back. It's a little bit dangerous, but that's what people buy tickets for, to come see a little action and people getting knocked around. The rest of the rodeo is a unique award-winning package, and the wagons as well. But I think if they somehow fit in there that Wild West, I mean, it is the heart of the Wild West, and there's nothing wilder than a bunch of guys roping a bunch of old wild longhorn cows and getting stomped trying to milk them.
There's the horn and the Tommy Dorchester $50,000 dash for cash is westbound and down as Kirk Sutherland Emco Corporation cranks him up a notch and heads for the early lead. Kurt Bensmiller, AIC Construction right on his stove rack, and Jason Glass desperately hanging on to that rail with Birch Cliff Energy. Chad Hardin, Parkland Fertilizer, growing some speed as he flies down the backstretch, but it's Captain Kirk and Emco out in front of the pack by 2.5, and now Jason Glass putting on the pressure from the inside on Kurt Bensmiller and AIC Construction. Chad Hardin at Parkland Fertilizer closing ground. One outrider's going to be awfully far behind the pack, and here they head for the home stretch drive. Kurt Bensmiller, I should say Kirk Sutherland, Emco Corporation. Look at him fly to the wire tonight, but he's got problems he don't know about. Here comes Kurt Bensmiller in hot pursuit with Jason Glass in behind, and Chad Hardin closing ground at the wire. It is Kirk Sutherland, Emco, Kurt Bensmiller, AIC right there. Oh, Chad Hardin and nose ahead.
Having known the Ponoka Stampede board of directors for several years, and looking at our Alberta economy and the interest in rodeo and chuck wagon races, I think there's probably no place to go but up, although we kind of consider the Ponoka Stampede one of the premier events in Western Canada, if not North America. Their rodeo has won awards all across North America and certainly in Canada with the way it's managed and operated. Same as the chuck wagon races, it's become a huge part of our tour. But I believe that the Ponoka Stampede over the next 10 years is going to expand, not so much in capacity physically on the ground, but I believe they could extend their days, put on more rodeo, more wagon races, make it a longer show. What they've got is a very well-run and very saleable package, because we pack that place out with grassroots, rural rodeo fans. Yes, we get tourists, but for the people that really know and understand rodeo and chuck wagon races, it's their highlight of their summer. And I think they're probably going to have to increase their seating capacity and sponsorship capacity like they have done in the last few years. And I could just see that getting stronger every year.
Features Doug Irvine, B&R Eccles Transport, a width off the rail with Colt Cosgrave's Polka Dots now easing in behind, racing for High River, racing with all the speed you need, but right now the lead is in the hands and the thoroughbreds of Evan Solman, Phoenix Rentals, Kelly Sutherland, Red Deer Motors coming at him from the outside. Crank up the heat, Evan Solman, here comes the feather. Evan Solman and Kelly Sutherland at the wire. I'm thinking it's going to be a close one. It will be Kelly Sutherland by a nose. Evan Solman, Colt Cosgrave, and Doug Irvine settles for fourth in heat number 8.
When it comes to the Ponoka Stampede, it's unique in that it invites, or I should say it has cowboys and cowgirls, contestants from all over North America. World championships, Canadian champions, people that have made millions of dollars in the rodeo industry. It attracts the absolute best chuck wagon drivers that are available. But the unique thing about the Ponoka Stampede, I think, is the setting. Everything's close, everything's personable. You can camp 100 yards from where we put on this show and this entertainment package. It's not priced out of this world. And it's a big old family reunion for a lot of the people that not only are involved in the rodeo itself, but the fans that come there, that come every year. Ponoka has such a unique atmosphere and a very unique way of making it worthwhile for the chuck wagon drivers and the cowboys. And I think when it comes to the longevity of the Ponoka Stampede, I think it will outlast rodeo and chuck wagon races across the West for a long, long time. And cowboys from as far south as Texas and as far north as Dawson Creek make it a point to try and get to the Ponoka Stampede. There's big money and it's just going to get bigger.
Sunshine and warm breezes set the stage for a grand finale here at the 1997 Ponoka Stampede. Members of the Stampede Organizing Committee are always looking to make a great thing even better. So this year they decided to put a large cash injection into the finals. Well, the contestants are thrilled about that, and the bareback riders are the first to line up at the pay window.
Have you ever heard that one, what are you going to do next year? That comes from an old senator of ours, Mr. Ralph Vold, Blair Vold's father. Every year at the Ponoka Stampede, no matter how great a show it was always tradition for Ralph at the end of the last performance when the directors of the Stampede Board were bragging about how great a show they'd put on. Ralph's first question would be, well, boys, what are you going to do next year? So next year has always been one of the most important parts of Ponoka Stampede, and nobody's ever thought they've put on the best one or thought they couldn't do better next year, right? Having missed a few with the pandemic, I think it's just stoked the fires. We've got a thirsty crew around here, and everybody's keen to get at it, and we'll be bigger and stronger than we've ever been.
Rodeo's roots run deep in this parkland town of central Alberta. When the sport makes its annual visit here, it's a major tourist attraction. That's because Ponoka knows how to stampede in style.
I don't really want to date myself, but I was born in this community in 1971. I grew up here, and I grew up here at the Ponoka Stampede grounds. My father was on the Ponoka Stampede Board of Directors before I was born. And as kids, towards the end of the school year, when the midway would roll into town, that was the first signal of summer. School's almost over, the midway's there, we can't wait to get up to the grounds and take part in the Midway Carnival and ride the rides, right? And then as we got older, we went from the Midway Carnival to helping out moving chuck wagon barrels, and eventually Frank got us doing fencing work around here, and painting fence, cleaning things. And it's just kind of always been a part of my life for my entire life, and I think it's been a great place to grow up, and I've had the opportunity to be connected to some really great people with, Ralph Vold, Tom Butterfield, and now working with their sons like Blair Vold and Blake Butterfield, and just a lot of good people and a lot of good mentors, and it's kind of made a guy who he is, I think.
The July 1st tradition here dates back more than 6 decades. We're into Cowboy Christmas, and this is the busiest weekend on the Canadian Pro Rodeo calendar. Ponoka runs a 5-day stampede leading up to an exciting finals. So let's recap the winners from what the Cowboys refer to as the long round.
Heading into our arena, the pride and joy of our rodeo stock producers. You bet it's the Thundering Herd. It's
Well, it does find a guy spread a little thin from time to time, but I think it's all very worthwhile when you get to be part of an event like this with this great community, all our volunteers and our stock contractors and sponsors, everybody working together. It feels very effortless most of the time with all the contributions from our community and all our good people we're surrounded with. It's just fun to be part of it. So it doesn't feel like you're balancing anything. It's exciting to be part of it.
I'm happy, all right, especially here.
Why here?
Well, it's one of the best rodeos to come to in Canada, and it's always nice to do something here, especially on the shoot like long run.
A young barrel racing rookie from Princeton, BC, at her first pro rodeo, tore up the track in Ponoka. Hallie Willis had the...
Well, it's no real secret that when Stampede's on, our population maybe goes up by a factor of 6 or 8, right? And there's been studies done over the years that show for every ticket dollar spent here on the Stampede grounds, there's $80 goes into our community, into the gas stations, grocery stores, hotels, restaurants, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's a real appreciation for our business in this community. When Stampede's thriving, so is our community.
In the low rolling plains of Alberta, the coyotes are howling their tune. In the low rolling plains of Alberta, spring is here and the wild roses bloom. In the tall lonesome pines.
Well, you know, the X factor in Ponoka is that it's a down-home feel. This is basically, you're in the middle of central Alberta, you're in cowboy country, and our down-home feel makes the X factor that much better. Plus, if you look at the grounds here, you're right in the action. The X factor for Ponoka is the fact that you can smell and taste the dirt, and a lot of times we can get you close enough that we can actually get you into the middle of the action, sitting in the front row. It's like being at a concert. You know, you got the nosebleed seats and you got the good seats. Well, Calgary's got the nosebleeds. Ponoka, you're front row every seat you're in. I'm Rick Bonnet, and I'm the mayor of Ponoka. Outside being mayor, you know, I was born here, grew up in the community, you know, all the way through as organizations that played hockey with, everything we volunteered, we always helped out. So, I mean, outside of being mayor, yeah, mayor's a different situation with it, but you know what? Ponoka Stampede's always been a big part of our family's lifestyle, and we've always supported and volunteered and helped out at the Stampede for everything that goes on. That 1 week of the year, we bring in a pile of people.
We're glad you could join us on the Stampede Trail here in Ponoka.
No, it's the best time of the year. You know what? We enjoy our time with the parades and everything. We have a host of people come in from different communities, and we like to showcase as council all our other local towns and cities. We invite them all to come to the Stampede, and we give them a one-day kind of fun and games, and you know what? That's the best time of the year for the council. You know, when I first became mayor, it was a couple of the other towns come to us and basically said, you know, how many people you guys get in the Ponoka Stampede for that week? And, you know, I'd say, you know, anywhere between 50 and 70,000 people come through the turnstiles. And they'd go, oh, you guys must spend a ton of money doing that. And we say, you know, it's not as much money as you think, because our Stampede organization does a great job of running this event. And one mayor actually told me, he said, you know what? He said, they spent $250,000 to get 5,000 people into their town. And he said, you guys must spend way more than that. And I said, no, it's a lot less than you'd actually think. So, you know, so all the other mayors are envious of what happens with Ponoka, with how many tourists we can draw in that 7-day period. Oh, that 1 week is huge for the whole year. And, you know, with the pandemic, we're going to find out this year we get back to some normalcy of how much it really hurts not having the Stampede. You know, it brings in millions of dollars into the economy. All our community organizations that work and live and play through here make their whole years donations from working at the Stampede and doing that and having the people come through. So, you know, it's a huge impact on our local economy, a huge impact on our community. And like I said, I'm kind of fearful for what this winter is going to bring if we get back into normalcy, because we didn't have the Stampede again this year, so we've missed some of that community organization spirit.
Definitely, you know, happy about that score, but, you know, just to ride that bull, you know, he gets rode quite a bit, but since he's bucked me off before, heck, if they'd have given me a 1, I'd have been happy.
There's no doubt about Kelly earning this buckle and a juicy $6,035 bonus as he wins everything he can. The Big Valley Cowboy was last year's season leader.
Rolling down the blacktop with troubles borrowed, not enough pen to paper of you and I. It's making me old beyond my time. It's making me old beyond my time. Buckers we rode, do they even care about the tales we have, spurring out all their air? Done some things I'd rather not mention. If you want to laugh, I can break the tension. My books, well, they're filled with sad old songs.
It's almost like disbelief, I guess. Being a smaller town, COVID affected us, but that was like the icing on the cake. That was what made it real. No stampede. That's the start for summer. That's what Ponoka is known for, and all of a sudden it wasn't there.
A young barrel racing rookie from Princeton, BC, at her first pro rodeo, tore up the track in Ponoka. Hallie Willis had the fast time at 17.30 seconds. For the bull riding, always a tough event at Ponoka, the top mark was a big 86. The Hawaiian cowboy Myron Duarte earned that staying alive on Jack's back.
I was born and raised in Ponoka, so I've got to feel the experience of the rodeo, the fairgrounds, the games, the beer gardens a little bit too. It was part of the fabric of being from Ponoka. I mean, again, the Stampede's kind of the centerpiece of Ponoka, the town of Ponoka. So obviously, we focus a lot on our advertising dollars and promotional stuff towards the Stampede, as do most of the people and businesses in Ponoka. As far as the business-wise, it doesn't affect us a whole lot in the day-to-day. I think in the long run it does. It's just, again, it's wound into, as somebody from Ponoka, business or resident, the Stampede's just part of who we are.
Calf ropers already have a lot of variables to deal with. There's the calf, the horse, the weather, even their ropes. Well, here at Ponoka, they throw in a tricky score line. The famous Ponoka long run adds a little more fun to an already big challenge.
We help out, obviously it's a Ram truck there that they're giving away. We help a little bit there. A lot of the trucks you see out on the grounds are from here. We let them use that for the different things they need, the different functions and stuff like that. From the staff perspective, we're always support the parade, like to put in a couple vehicles, get the family and kids in there. And I know they fill the bleachers, especially the beer gardens. So it's just part of who we are as Ponoka Chrysler, is the Ponoka Rodeo. I don't know how much we're affected. Again, parts and service gets quite busy for us. Sales, not so much. But you feel it among the whole community. I mean, hotels count on it, the restaurants count on it, the grocery stores, the liquor stores. That's a big chunk of their change for the whole year. So as a community, absolutely, it's felt. All the different groups that work for the Stampede, the Lions Club, the Pool Sharks, the Air Cadets. I mean, that's big fundraisers for them. They put a lot of work in that, and they count on those kind of funds coming back to them, and it's just not there. So overall, it affects the whole community, top to bottom, and not in a positive way with it not being here. So we miss it. God, I hope it's back next year.
Let's watch this action take place.
The bareback riding top dollars were shared. Brendan Manitoba cowboy Don McLeod set the mark at an 85 from his trip on Weekend Warrior. But Canadian champion Travis Whiteside of Turner Valley tapped out a matching figure on one called Northern Breeze. It's the long score in the timed events, and Spring Cooley's Mervyn Hofer handled it best in the calf roping with a time of 8.7 seconds. Maple Creek, Saskatchewan cowboy Dan Black boosted his confidence with an 84 on collect call to top the bronc riding, while Cardston's Todd Woodward came through in the mud with a 4 and 6 to be the fastest steer wrestler. The best barrel racer turned out to be Leslie Schlosser of Stavely, as she and Awesome were sure-footed in some sloppy conditions for a 17.46. And there were a few bulls rode this year. The highest mark was an 86 from Kelly Armstrong of Big Valley on Sea and Stars. Those marks and times stay with the competitors as we head to the bareback finals. The skies have opened up, but that won't dampen Davy's drive. Last year's Ponoka winner Davy Shields returns for more.
Champion. We want him to be a world champion. Let's cheer him on. Come on, Davy Shields, you go to him. Copenhagen pit stop for the Bold Rodeo Company.
It's a pit stop that's juicy, and Davy drinks it in for a big 86 and 168 on 2. Here's a transplanted New Zealand cowboy.
Here is Rodney Ruxton, Dark Alley Skull of the Northcott Rodeo Company. He was 84 the first time. Come on, Rodney. Ride him, ride him, ride him.
And ride him Rodney does with style for 81, giving him 165 points altogether. Cochrane's Don Blishen is one of the picks in the pen.
Let's watch him ride. Ask her again, the horse, the top horse last year. Come on, Don Blishen, you ride this one right here.
It's a top effort from both horse and rider, and Don takes away an 85 as he slides in with 166.
Here.
Well, my name is Tom. My business is Old Ang Horse Restaurant and Lounge, located in Ponoka, Alberta. I came to Ponoka in 1992. Lived here since then. 10 years ago, my wife and I decided to purchase this business, and we've been running the restaurant ever since. So 2011 was the year that we took over the business. This business itself has been a restaurant for 15 years, and we have been running it for 10 years.
Future stars like Cardston's Tom Bingham claimed some Stampede dollars. He won the novice bronc riding with a 73. When it came to the young Riggin riders, Reed Rowan of 7 Persons made the biggest impression, winning with a 77. Cordell Griffith of Cessford made a stylish 80-point performance in boys steer riding, but then Tyler Pankowitz of Warburg came out and matched that mark for a share of first-place honors.
Man, you talk about a rank one. Did you like that ride? Tyler
Excitement. Yeah. Lots of people come to town. Business was very prosper, brings a lot of business to town, where the generate of economic activities in terms of hotel bookings, gas station, grocery. It's like a domino effect when you got a big shot of people coming to town.
Hudson Hope, BC is where Debbie Gilly comes from with her steady buck.
And it's a nice turn as she slides around. That's 2-way and to the final one. The big dun horse slides to the last one, and what do you say, Canada? Let's help her. Come on home.
Debbie's done in 1773, and her total adds up to 35.27.
I think, it's in our blood to solve problems. We downsize the menu. We pick the favorite items on the menu. We design the menu so that our customer comes in, they don't have to spend a lot of time browsing the menu, and it's easy for the kitchen to handle because the choices are limited, but yet we're able to have people come in and out back to the show. We do have famous cowboy that comes in here. I have a stash of menu that's been signed, the rodeo legends, if you want to call them. Most of them have retired, and they come here, have their favorite meal, steak sandwiches or whatever, and then they, one year I purposely have them to sign Stampede menu. We redesign the menu strictly for them so that we can cater to their favorite food.
But don't forget round one winner Todd Woodward, who's got all kinds of time coming in.
It's on the way. This is for all the marbles. This is for the championship of the Ponoka Stampede. Oh, and we've got a bit of a fall down there. Now a dog fall is not going to help him either. Go ahead, twist him over.
Todd has all kinds of troubles, and the rain starts again, too. But 11-1 is still good enough because he's only 15-7 on 2, and that gives him first.
I knew he didn't run as hard, and I just had a lot of time to play with, and I stayed off the barrier a little bit, and my feet kind of stuck with me, and I just had to bear down and keep with him.
The Cardston Cowboy is enjoying his rookie year in the CPRA, and this win at his first trip to Ponoka will be a big boost. Todd's got his own horse and practices with the Heggie clan at Raymond.
I wouldn't say heavily. I mean, it's a big booster shot, if you want to put it that way, to every business in town. I think that we have been without the Stampede for 2 years now. And I mean, if business survive without 2 years in a row, I think we're doing very well. But at the same time, it's a big booster shot for everyone.
We'll stay stateside and look for some Lone Stars from Chris Harris.
Limited edition of the Franklin Rodeo Company. Come on, Christopher.
It's almost like singing in the rain with snap, kick, and style. Chris chalks up a big 87, putting him in front at 169.
She was phenomenal. I felt great up there. She really bucked good. Circled right around there to the left and just let me really get back there and show off my ability, and didn't try to hurt me or nothing, just was real nice. I love her, I want to take her home with me and put her in the backyard. Just a great horse.
So the buckle and the bucks go to Chris Harris. The college kid hails from Arlington, but considers Canada a second home because of the great bucking horses here. He's a world contender this year and one to watch. The TELUS scoreboard shows how he cashed in at Ponoka as we show you the average placings and the total money won from all 3 rounds. After the Ponoka placings are figured in, the Canadian bareback standings still show Kenton Randall in the lead, but Wade Graves is moving on up. Stampede money helps advance Travis, Davey, and Don McLeod. Don Blishen is knocking on the door of the top 10. The ropers are ready, and first to back in the box is 6-time Canadian champ Larry Robinson, who comes in with 9 and 7.
Now we'll add together the 2 times it takes. Roping and wrapping is the name of the game. Pick him up, put him down, and then wrap him up with a picket string. Yes.
The Innisfail Looper is as solid as ever, done in 9 and 9 for a 19.6 second total.
I came in May, June 2006 to Ponoka, 6,000 people. I came from a town of 80,000 people in England. I had never seen or heard of rodeo before. Well, not like this. I'd been to the Calgary Stampede before, but this was completely different. So I paid my $30 or so, whatever it was, for the ticket, which was ridiculously cheap. And I remember going up the stairs to the Stampede, and after that, everything was blown. Everything was different. Everything that I'd ever known was completely different from the moment I'd got to the top of those stairs. The first thing I saw was the whole stadium. And all these people were here, and this was definitely a professional outfit, which I'd never seen anything like this before. And the next thing I know, for the next, I don't know, couple of hours or so, I'd seen so much absolute raw talent that you never ever get in England. England was so sterile compared to this. I absolutely loved the bulls, I loved the horses, and I loved the chuck wagons. We came back to see the chuck wagons in the evening, and I absolutely loved that. I can distinctly remember the girls coming with the flags, and I really enjoyed watching the, I think they were called the marshals. When the marshals would take over, you would know that there was a sense of not only pride, but a sense of safety and a sense of responsibility with this absolutely crazy 30 seconds of hell that was going on. Absolutely loved it. I loved every part of what I saw. I couldn't believe the price. I couldn't believe how professional it was. And I couldn't believe how much I just wanted to come back year after year after year after year. I remember, so this was 2006, so I remember seeing the chucks. So in those times they had more outriders than you're allowed now. And the chuck wagons were just incredible. I'd been to the Calgary Stampede before, but that was at a distance. That was definitely a distance. This was definitely in your face. This was definitely, you were living this in Ponoka. It was very professional, and the chuck wagons were just so loud. And hearing them come from a distance towards you, and the whole crowd going crazy, was like better than any horse race that I'd ever seen. I thoroughly enjoyed the clowns that were there to protect us when the bulls were there, and I thoroughly enjoyed the whole entertainment. I believe that year they had a guy from Mexico. I think he was a one-arm bandit, was he called? I think, and he came from Mexico. And he was the entertainment, and everything about the Stampede was so raw and so Canadian, so North American. I loved every single second of being here and of watching it.
Here's a colorful South Dakota cowboy.
Red Limo, Brown Sugar, the horse, he was 83. Come on, Red, you ride him now. Look at this guy, classic ride right around in front.
There's a tasty trip. Red savors an 81 to earn 164 on the pair of rides. Now for a 4-time World Bronc Riding titleist.
This is Dan Mortensen out of Manhattan, Montana. Mojo is the horse of the Franklin Rodeo Company. And we're going to watch him ride. He was 81. Here's the world champion. Come on, Danny. Look at this guy reach. Classic moves as he...
Mojo does his best to dethrone Dan, but the Montana man stays mounted for an 83, and he's in there with 164.
The Ponoka Stampede doesn't have the impact that it should have on our local economy. Apart from the fact that we all buy a lot more burgers and the restaurants get pretty packed, it doesn't have the impact that it should have. What it does do, though, I come from the non-profit background, so what it does do is gives us in the non-profit area a fantastic opportunity. So I've done 2 key jobs here. My first job was working in the food booth with the church, St. Mary's Anglican Church. That was fantastic. That's serving burger after burger after burger after burger. I was on fries duty and I was on cleaning duty, and that raised quite a big chunk of our income that year. Since then, I have been selling programs and inserts with the Girl Guides. So I've got 2 daughters who are in the Girl Guides, both in Brownies and Girl Guides, and I sell the inserts and the programs with them, which means I get to see people from all over the world coming up to me and buying programs and asking questions, and I'm right there in the field answering all sorts of daft questions about the Stampede or about the weather or about where you can buy blue shoes from in Ponoka. So in terms of the non-profits, the Stampede Association does a fantastic job in including us and getting us engaged. But in terms of the economy of Ponoka, I still think there's a lot of work to do that we can do to get these fantastic people down to see our wonderful stores downtown.
We'll stay in Montana, and with a rodeo family, here comes Jeff Solomon.
He's on his way. Oh, his horse turned at the wrong time. Can he catch up? Wally Few doing the hazing. Jeff Solomon says, I'm going to jump him. I'm going to go. And I'll twist him down.
Well, that took some courage and determination. Jeff finishes an 11.3 and speeds things up to 16.3. But don't forget round one winner Todd Woodward, who's got all.
My name is Kathy Masters, and I own the Ponoka Health Food Store here in Ponoka, Alberta on Chipman Avenue. The Ponoka Health Food Store in the past has been a huge sponsor. We've sponsored a tarp with the wagons, because that's near and dear to my heart. I've also sponsored banners and buckles up at the Stampede.
The first round winner is back, but Dan Black will have his hands full with Bronc of the Year, Wyatt Earp.
He's 84 points on the first ride. Just hang in there. You just ride him. Here we go. Come on. Look at this one. Get in the air. Ride him, Dan Black. Stay hooked.
Dan keeps his wits straight and his seat in the saddle through all sorts of challenges. He makes the whistle and an 89. That gives him 183 in the title, thanks to a horse that had him a bit scared.
Yeah, before I got on him, I'm scared of every horse I get on, though, so don't want to get thrown off too much, and this one definitely had my attention.
I have owned the store for 5 years now. We were in a location across the street and have moved over here for the last 2.5 years. My fondest memory of the Ponoka Stampede would have to be as a child. My dad raced the pony chuck wagons for my whole entire being, from birth to when I was 17 years old. I have yet to miss a stampede in 52 years until COVID came.
It's been more like mud wrestling this year at Ponoka, but that's meant good watching for the fans. It's all business for BJ Ziffley here in the finals, who's been collecting trophy saddles the last few weeks.
That's because of his prowess as a steer wrestler, as a calf roper, as a timey through and through. Plant your feet, BJ. Go to work now. Come on, Brett.
When I heard that the Stampede was canceled last year, the first thing I thought was how heartbreaking it was, considering it's such a huge part of my heritage and a part of this town. And then again this year, even though things opened up and they still had to cancel, it just really makes me sad of all our businesses that will miss all of the extra funds that come in from the Stampede and people.
Oh, he's trying to, yeah, he did it.
It's not textbook style, but at Ponoka, Bulldoggers have to throw away the book and survive. BJ's got an 8 and 5 for a 17.8 second total. The scenic town of East Glacier, Montana is where John Ray hangs his hat.
Here we go. We're on our way. Down the line and outside. Whoa, a hula hand. John Ray of East Glacier, Montana does it.
I do love and have really missed the downtown part of the Stampede, how we always decorate all of our stores and the parade and so much of the Western culture that comes to Ponoka. Ponoka is such a huge town for any sort of horse events. The Stampede is so very important to the culture of our town. Our town is a huge cowboy town, agriculture town, and when we're downtown, it just livens right up with the Western heritage. There's so much history here in Ponoka, and it looks so amazing when everybody decorates their stores and storefronts in the Western heritage. We have such an amazing town that supports the Ponoka Stampede, and the Ponoka Stampede supports us.
Bull riding is an edge-of-your-seat kind of sport. But you know, it doesn't always happen in big arenas or stampede grounds. Back in the Battle River Valley not far from here, some bull riding enthusiasts put on a special event to help develop young riders and young bulls. It's a battle of bovine and bull riders along the scenic banks of the Battle River not far from Ponoka. That's it, just bulls on the program, some young and unproven, but the same is true of the contenders.
We'd match them. High school kids, 2-year-old bulls. Semi-pro kids, 3-year-old bulls. And the big bulls go to the big boys. It's a way to take care of your future.
It really is the sport of hard knocks, so any way that you can learn easier, if there is such a way as learning easy in bull riding, this would be it. You have the best.
Calgary's Derek Martineau is getting a shoot squeeze.
Well, he says, I don't like the way this deal's shaping up. He says he's just about to squeeze that leg off when you put 1,800 pounds against me. He says, let's try and ride him. Here we go, raising Kane's skull. No, sir, down inside too soon.
Tough bull, and he gets the best of Derek, whose total is just 83 from round 1. The bulls are leading, but Montana's Jess
My name is Elaine Makinga, and my husband Harry and I are the owners of this business, the Makinga Market. So what we do here is we're selling European groceries. They come from across the seas on containers, and other than the meat, all the products come from Holland. And yeah, there's a lot of Dutch people here, but we get a lot of non-Dutch people as well. It's candies, cookies, cheese, lots of soups, whatever, it's for everybody. So pretty much anybody can find something here.
From the banks of the Battle River to the downpour at the Ponoka Stampede Arena, the showers are back, but the bull riders are raring to go. Maybe we can warm things up with heat and bicycler's Walter Redding on board.
Let's watch him right now. Here we go. Oh, boy. Wow, this one was shaking him loose, and it is a no score.
Guess that's too hot. The bull shakes Walter loose, and he stays with his early 85.
We go to the Stampede, our family, we usually go as a big group or gather some friends, and we go, we've been in the boxes, we've been in the regular stands, we go to concert nights. We've got a bunch of grandkids, so we're enjoying the carnival there. It's just a great time, and I love that the town comes alive, and I just love it. It's, yeah, I wouldn't miss it.
The bulls are leading, but Montana's Jess Mapp wants to change all that on Dodge Jiminy Cricket.
He says, let's give him a try. Come on, Jess, set up there and ride this one. Up, up. Out he comes. Jiminy Cricket, no score.
It's hard to keep those bull ropes sticky when it's wet. Jess pops off his and is left with 85. Kelly Armstrong is the last man to ride, and he's got Cattleman's Q91.
Here was the top bull at the Ponoka Stampede. We want to ride him. Come on, Kelly Armstrong. Let's cheer him on. Ride him, ride him, ride him, ride him. The whistle sounds, and he is there. Let's let him hear from you right now if you liked his ride.
The very first time, I think I was blown away by the campers, the sea of campers. The amount of people, the grocery stores being filled, just the buzz around town, and the atmosphere is just a fun time.
This bronc rider's a two-time Canadian champion.
Down low, but he says, I'm ready. Let's ride. Here we go. Denny Hay. Come on, let's cheer this guy on. Come on, Denny. Ride him, ride him, ride him.
Cricket bounds high and is hard to ride, but Denny's up to the task and gets an 85 for a 167. Here's a colorful South Dakota cowboy.
Red Limo, Brown Sugar, the horse, he was 83. Come on, Red, you ride him now. Look at this guy. Classic ride right around in front.
There's a tasty trip. Red savors an 81 to earn 164 on the pair of rides.
Well, the amount of people that are coming downtown, the Stampede doesn't start till about 1 in the afternoon. So in the morning, people are looking for something to do and they're just moseying around. And for a business like ours, it's the best way. People on foot that are just going door to door. You know, all these stores are exposed to new people, and those people are telling other people. So that's a benefit to having the Stampede. It just draws the draw from far and wide, from different places, and you never know what comes out of that.
We're glad you could join us on the Stampede Trail here in Ponoka. You know, money won here can really help contestants earn a spot at the Canadian finals. CFR pressure is beginning to build as we head into the last half of the summer run. Contestants anxious to earn cash will be sure to go to Lethbridge and some.
Let me tell you a tale about a man who bends raw steel with his hands, then nails it to an animal, preferably tame. Well, it sounds like quite the odd thing to do, and not enough folks pay him to or her. You know, I'm all about equal opportunity. See, it ain't all roses shoeing horses. A lot of the time it's the people, of course, and they'll tell you how to, opposing forces of your general good intentions. See, let's say things, personal things. Like for the love of Pete, when you trim his feet, don't touch the heels, you fool. And we'll twitch his lip, and if he pitches a fit, and I'll tie a leg or two. And would you believe I got him for free? He used to fight tigers in the Middle East, and my daughter says he'll barrel race. What a gorgeous beast. I get kicked and thrown, my knuckles are worn, I hand him the bill. He gawks, there ain't no way, with a look that could kill. So if you're thinking about being a farrier, just know there's no patience barrier. No girls ever think it's cool when you smell like horse feet. Trust me on that one. Showered twice today, still single. You can make a buck and try your luck, but the fire is hot and grueling. And maybe mom and dad were right, I should have gone for additional schooling. In the low rolling plains of Alberta, the coyotes are howling their tune. In the low rolling plains of Alberta, spring is here and the wild roses bloom. In the tall lonesome pines of Alberta, I'll build up a log cabin home. In the tall lonesome pines of Alberta, I'll lay down my weary bones. In the small prairie towns of Alberta, folks are hard-working, rugged and proud. In the small prairie towns of Alberta,